And you are
yeah.
the #1 female streamer on Twitch right now, correct?
It's like subjective.
Okay, you're up there. You're in the top % of female streamers on Twitch.
Hi, welcome back to the castle. I'm sorry if my voice sounds a bit if I get slightly sick, but we ball. And today, I was super curious when I saw this video. It is from Forbes. We never watched something from Forbes, and I already heard music in the first seconds, so I'm a bit concerned if it actually will be published, but we will see. And Forbes had an interview with Emiru, and I'm a big fan of Emiru. So I'm really interested what was said in that interview, and if I personally can learn from it, and or maybe you who also wants to get into streaming or is already streaming wants to learn a little bit from her, because she definitely had success, right? So let's see what the interview is about. Enjoy. And I thought, since Emiru looks very professional, I wanted to look very presentable, so I put on my nightgown. Let's see. The title of the video is How Emiru became one of the highest paid streamers on Twitch. Let's go.
Being yourself is definitely the most important thing, even if you feel like you see everyone else doing.
She sits so straight. I'm sorry that I'm commenting on it, but usually she's just shrimping around, and here she's like a candle. I'm so sorry.
Something different. If you just be yourself, eventually people that are like you will come.
Under 30, United States 2026. Or they have like maybe a whole line of this. Aw, look at her.
Emmy, better known as Emiru.
Hi.
Thank you
Hello.
so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is so cool.
She's
I'm
nervous.
so excited to have you and talk about so many of the barriers that you're breaking across the gaming industry. You were nominated for Streamer of the Year the past 2 years at the Streamies. You are one of the most watched creators on Twitch, especially as far as female streamers goes. Do these accolades or titles mean anything to you, or how do you feel like you've gotten to this point?
It feels very strange because I've been streaming.
Wait, you don't see her. They also put, I didn't know her full name. Emiru Hyunk. It's an interesting last name.
For 10 years and doing content for 10 years, and I still kind of just think of myself as someone that, you know, I'm playing games and sharing my hobbies and stuff, and then if people like it and want to watch and hang out, then that's great, but like I never really expect anything, so it's kind of crazy. I don't really think about it that much, honestly, so it's kind of weird hearing it said like that.
Totally. Well, you have about 7 million people who are coming to watch your content that you're just...
She's like, it's weird to hear it like that. She's like, 7 million people. Oh my god.
doing for fun. How has it been over the past 10 years in this industry? So much has changed. What has it been like from your experience?
Well, I don't know if like the people watching really know a lot about streaming. So streaming started literally just as like people who like playing video games or sharing other things, but mostly video games, just in their rooms with their friends sharing it. And now 10 years later, or more than 10 years later, it's like basically involved into like a lot of streamers are collabing with celebrities and doing a lot of crazy stuff. Like, I don't know if you guys know, like Kai Cenat, he just got a million subscribers.
That's
on
insane.
his Twitch channel, and like he has all these crazy people like Tony Hawk and
like it's also like crossing a lot of, how do I say, it's also crossing a lot of different niches. I don't even want to call it niches, but like different parts of the media, let's call it that. Like big brand deals are working with streamers, or I'm pretty sure at some point streamers will be very, very big in movies as well, that some director of a movie wants a specific humor of a streamer, maybe things like that. I'm pretty sure this is still something, if it's not already like happening, because I'm not so broad knowledge like who is doing what. I just know like a couple people, the one I see I follow, right? So I'm pretty sure that is either already happening or is about to happen very, very soon. Like different celebrity groups are working with streamers. It is just crazy how everything is intertwining with itself. And what I wanted to say is, as you heard her, she's doing this for 10 years and like celebrating this very, very big. I mean, she's been successful for a good while, right? But for people who just get to know her now, they just know, oh, she's famous because she's streaming. And then some people, and I know this happens a lot, some people think, oh yeah, I will just start streaming and then I will get famous as her, like earn big money. But you never see the timeline of people like PewDiePie, Markiplier, Emiru, Asman, like all those people do that for years and years and years, sometimes without being acknowledged. Like Iron Mouse as well, for example, in the VTubing scene, and it is just a very, very long marathon, and this is something that I think many people underestimate when they become a creator or streamer.
It's just crazy. Things have changed so much because yeah, for me it's like, I'm just a girl in my room.
Yeah, but
She's so
within
humble.
this, there have been so many new opportunities for business and to make it your career, not just hobby anymore.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When do you feel like that switch happened for you? When did it become your career?
Well,
Oh, that's
for me, like,
interesting.
I was just doing it instead of going to college because I was like, well, I can just do it and make money, and then I can go finish my degree whenever I want. But that never happened. But over time, as streaming started getting more and more popular, a lot of different industries started, getting involved with streamers, like game publishing or just general marketing, things like that. We're like, hey, we want to work with, streamers and content creators. So yeah.
Especially depending on what you stream for. Like if you're like a gaming streamer specifically known for some stuff, that those kind of companies will reach out to you, I think feels very normal. But for example, like depending on what you stream, like even if it's like your hobby, I know a bunch of people like stream how they do art. Of course, brands like Vacom, like who does those graphic tablets, will reach out to you, or Clip Studio Paint, which is a very good software for drawing and editing and stuff like that. Not sponsored, all of this, by the way. But like even those type of companies will reach out to streamers because they see a market to advertise themselves and like use streamers as influencers. So technically, if you don't like the word influencer as a streamer, you will eventually very much likely become one the more you do all of this, because you're influencing people.
Yeah, that's also been a really,
Hopefully
really
in a
big
good
shift
way.
over the years. Like, I've worked with game publishers and brands like Red Bull and like
Red Bull
clothing
even
brands, like all different kinds of things.
Holy, I
You were
didn't know
just signed
that.
with Red Bull. Can you tell me a little bit about that partnership and what that means
Yeah.
within the industry?
Yeah.
Well, Red Bull, for the most part, has been more in like, sports and things like that. But they've also, like a little bit lesser known, been working in esports. But they've been spreading more into the creator space a little bit and wanting to do like projects and really fun events that people can watch. So I think like over time they'll be doing more of that, and hopefully I'll be doing that with them too.
It's so
I also think like Red Bull, in terms of, I think their consumer market is mainly male, right? So having someone like Emiru, I mean, she also has a widely male audience probably. But since she's a female creator, that is like a little bit new, because I don't know many female ones that collaborated with Red Bull, like very knowingly, basically.
cool. You started, like you said, 10 years ago in 2015, streaming League of Legends, correct?
Yep.
Oh boy.
How did you
Oh,
get
no.
involved in the gaming community to begin with?
Oh no,
I've
poor
been
girl.
playing games since I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old, like a lot of people. And then I got into League. League is the first online game that I played, and since it's online, you just naturally meet a lot of people and make a lot of friends. And I made a lot of friends that
it's
got
good.
me into streaming, and then I met streamers through doing all that, and just over time, it's just
It just
grown a
built
lot.
up over time.
When was the first time that you got paid or had a brand deal, or again, like going back to this transition from it being a hobby to it being your job? Do you remember the first time that you like realized that this is something that you could make money through?
Well, how it starts for pretty much all streamers, or like how it was back then, is it was kind of this realization like, oh, we can play games, and if people like watching and like hanging out, then they might like subscribe or donate. So it was literally like, I remember like my first Twitch paycheck was like $200 or something. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, this is so cool, like I'm making something for doing what I want to do. And then I think that my first sponsor was an energy drink company. And that just like blew my mind. I was like, wow, I can't believe that, you know, people want to work with streamers. But I mean, it makes sense because it's like, it's the platform that you can reach a lot of people and share different products and different fun things to try.
Yeah, very true.
So,
Yeah.
Do you remember what you spent that first $200 on?
Probably more stuff for my stream.
Love it, love it.
Yeah.
Classic. I think all of my money just went into streaming. Like everything I earned so far, everything went back into either new things for the model or new games that I want to play or art or software, stuff like that. Also my computer is like 1/3 funded just for streamer money basically. I feel very, very blessed because I can say stuff like that because I know it's a privilege. But I'm absolutely astonished. Like I'm genuinely, what is the word? I don't even know a word. That's how many feelings I suddenly have from the joy, you know.
How has your content changed over time? Because the industry at large has changed a lot. More platforms have come into the market.
Yeah.
What has that meant for the content that you're creating?
Yeah, well, like I said, it started as people mostly playing video games, but now when you look at the top streamers, they're just straight up entertainers for the most part. Like they're hosting events and going out in the world and like doing all kinds of crazy things. So over time, I've transitioned into, I still really wanted to stay rooted in gaming, but now I like to try a lot of different games, and I kind of view it in a way of like, oh, like sharing, like, you know, this is a new game that came out, people want to see things about it, so I'll do that. Or I'll, you know, I do like doing events, like I host things like big global cosplay contests, and I like going to conventions, like anime conventions, cosplay conventions, and streaming those and meeting people there.
I want to talk about the cosplay side of everything. You have become very, very known for your cosplay content. How did you get into this kind of sector of the industry?
Well, I've been like playing dress up since I was like, I think 7 or 8 years old, but back then it was just like Disney princess costumes and stuff like that. But I was obsessed with it. Like my mom, she bought me like 5 or 6, and I would try to wear all 5 or 6 at once, and I'd be like, "Look, mom, look." And so that's how it started. But just like so many other things that started as just like different interests or hobbies for people, you know, online, you can meet people that are interested in those things too that you might not be able to reach in real life, and then you can gain big audiences from that. So, you know, I started cosplaying online and meeting a lot of people there, and it was always just about sharing a hobby and interacting with other people. But then over time, as I became more of a streamer and started being able to work with companies, I wanted to do the cosplay contest because I really like seeing other people's stuff that they make, so I wanted to be able to give money back.
Yeah, and
So what
giving
we do is
giving like others a platform back, basically, who helped her gaining her platform. This is a wonderful way to repay the support from her community, I think.
we'll,
Good idea.
you know, we'll find a brand that wants to support it, and then we'll give like hundreds of thousands of dollars away to talented artists and creators that enter.
What are you most looking for in this contest? Is there like a specific style that you're really drawn to, or a specific side of creativity that you feel like typically wins?
Well, I feel like with any kind of artistic hobby, there's all kinds of, well, there's obviously all kinds of different skill levels. Like there are people that are very professional or people that are more casual, but it's still, you know, what they love doing. So we try to give awards and funding to people of all different talent levels. So we'll
That's
have like the
nice.
craftsmanship category, which is for people that are like Hollywood level crafters or like sometimes even better. But we'll also give it to people that, you know, they just want to make something silly and fun to make people laugh.
I think there was also was that Lightning cosplay, because I know her from Germany. I think Lightning also worked with someone to make, I'm not sure if it was Lightning, but I know a cosplayer that I follow a little bit, and she was able, or like was not was picked because she's specifically a cosplay maker, to make a dress for one of those big Hollywood galas, basically. Something like that. And I also follow like another channel who is just going to those galas herself and making like real cool dresses. Like the Phoenix dress from Panem. Tribute to Panem, basically. What is the English name of that show? Like the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games. Yeah. She was like invited to the Hunger Game gala, or no. She was like invited to a gala, and for this special gala, she made a phoenix dress that just lights on fire. Basically, she has like little things in there, and then just lights up. Or was it just testing? I'm mixing things, but she's also a really really nice person. If you want to learn something about cosplay making, there are really really good channels where you can learn stuff from them.
How has the relationship with your audience changed, especially as you're saying you've gone from being fully online to then in real life with a lot of these people? What has that meant for how you're able to generate new audiences, engage with the people who follow you?
Well, streaming is a very it's really different from most other like entertainment industries because you're very connected to your audience compared to other places.
Very
Like an
much, yeah.
actor or a singer probably isn't really getting to directly interact with their audience much besides maybe like Instagram or Twitter. But for streaming, literally the whole time you're live, you're talking to people
Yeah.
in chat.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of pros and cons to that. Like I really really like my community. I like being able to talk to them. But then it can also invite like a lot of strange things, like people that are very invasive or stalkers or things like that, which does happen in other industries, but it's a lot more prevalent in streaming for sure.
Definitely. And as a woman in the space too, I'm sure that this is an increased kind of concern of yours. How
It's
do you
scary.
maintain your like
Very
safety
scary.
and make sure that you are, putting up the right barriers while still connecting with people?
Well, in a lot of cases, it's almost like there's kind of nothing you can do, and you just kind of have to do your best to, take care of yourself and take care of your friends. Like, I've had a lot of things happen to myself or happen to my friends. Like, even just recently, there was some like
TwitchCon.
discussion online. I don't know if you know who, like, I'm sure you do, like Pokimane and Valkyrie.
Ah.
They were talking about how they didn't want to attend one of the big streamer events because security is such a big concern. And a lot of people like didn't really understand that, but it is a very like prevalent.
Yeah, people did not understand it, and then remember what happened, right? So I know for some people it's hard to understand the fear of sometimes just going outside, okay? And it is just there. You this is something you learn sadly how to live with it. Or you have to learn how to live with it basically, but it is a bit heartbreaking that there's still a lot of people who don't acknowledge that fear, especially if already things happen to you. Or you have like very close friends where something happened. And I kid you not, aside from my own experiences, I don't know any female friend I have who did not had at least 1 or 2 or 3 interactions with weird people in real life where they were really scared. I don't know one single friend who didn't had any shit when they were outside. And we have reasons for, like, for example, my very very tight friend group, my 3 friends, 2 of them can drive, and also I can also drive. We 3 drivers, we have a reason why we lock the doors immediately once we get into the car, stuff like this. Or why when we meet each other and then we go back home like alone or like drive home, we always say, hey, I'm safe at home, good night, whatever, yada yada. There are reasons for that, just to be sure. If someone is not writing anything, you call them because you're worried that something happened, because you never know. And then people not acknowledging that is just annoying and heartbreaking, that it is a problem. And it should be acknowledged, and it is just a whole bucket to open, which I don't want right now. But it just, as you can see, it affects me a lot if I hear that concerns about safety, especially as a female. I mean, I know guys also get attacked, don't get me wrong, or like other people, but there are a lot of concerning numbers regarding that, and statistically, so, and it makes me very sick to hear that it's still many places where it's not acknowledged at all, the safety concerns that you have.
And crazy thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure too, like we all have parasocial relationships with celebrities we follow or, influencers online. But to your point, we're not always talking with them. And I'm sure that that adds a whole other layer of people feeling like they know you.
Yeah, it's strange because in the past, like when talking about stalkers or people fixating on celebrities, it would be people like, like Britney Spears or Miley Cyrus that are like kind of, they are so like out of reach in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But a lot of people feel like they have direct access to streamers.
Yeah.
So especially in the case of people who, you know, might be mentally ill or like, you know, maybe, you know, don't really like women, it can be a lot more scary.
And of course, there are many of these concerns, but you obviously are still in this industry because you love it, and there's a great community as well.
There
Who
is.
is the
And that is
majority of your
that
demographic
outweighs
today? Who are the
everything.
people that are following you and watching along with your streams whenever you create content?
Well, I think for me and then just the streaming community in general, most of my audience is people in their 20s and early 30s. And then it is definitely a lot more heavily male dominated since it's more of like, you know, a gaming space. But I have noticed that over the years, it's become a lot more welcoming to women compared to when I first started. Like, I remember when I first started streaming, there were a lot of other girls streaming on Twitch, but the environment was just not very welcoming. Like, I would be streaming League and every like 5 or 6 messages would be like
someone
like a sexist or hate message.
that is so horrible. Like, imagine you have to deal with this every couple minutes. Just imagine. But with the girls type of thing, I'm very sure my main audience is also male. Like, when I look at the demographics, I'm still thinking of ways how we can include more female people, because I just want, or like female people or trans people, whatever, because I support everything. Everyone is welcome. But I think it depends on the type of content that I do, right? And so I'm thinking of branching out a little bit, to just create also suitable content for females, for trans, for LGBTQ, and just like everyone friendly content basically. It's just a bit difficult to put everything under one roof, especially when you do everything alone. But this is something I'm still thinking about, how to figure this out, because I think it would be very nice to have a diverse community, to just be also a space where people can learn understanding each other better. And this is just one of the bigger goals that I like, not goals, but one of the bigger things that I'm passionate about, to create a space where you first save from stuff, but also have a space where you can learn from others, that we can all just grow as a community no matter where we are. And I'm rambling too much. I'm getting emotional about this because it's so important to me. I'm so sorry.
And I would have friends who'd be like, oh, I wanted to start streaming because I saw you were doing it. It looked so fun, but I couldn't handle the chat and the comments.
Messages,
but I just have very thick skin, I think.
And I think this is something that women
need
across
that, by the way.
industries feel, right? Like,
You need a
regardless
very
of if
thick
you're
skin.
in front of a camera or in the workplace, how do you keep your confidence and keep true to what you are doing and what you are creating? What's your advice for how other young women coming up in any industry can do the same thing?
I think it's really important to try to stay grounded and try to keep talking to people that aren't necessarily in the industry, but it's also important to talk to people that can relate to you. Like, I've reached out to a lot of other female streamers at times that, like, I needed advice, and then now I have a lot of people that reach out to me to ask about different things. But I think at the end of the day, it's just clear that the positives outweigh the negatives, so it's worth it.
Okay.
And you are the #1 female streamer on Twitch right now, correct?
It's like subjective.
Okay, you're up there. You're in the top % of female streamers on Twitch. What do you think about your content or your personality brings people to you today? How have you generated that following?
Well, when I decided I wanted to try to start improving my stream a lot, I wanted to try to create an environment where people felt like they were having fun hanging out. So, you know, I try to do like a big variety of things. Like, I'll just talk to people, we'll watch videos together, play different games, like go to events, go outside, meet people, have people over. Like, I just wanted to make a fun environment, basically.
Is there a favorite piece of content that you are creating right now, or a favorite medium that you're working in?
Well, my favorite thing to do will always be to play games, but I mean, I love doing stuff. Like, I did a Red Bull flute talk recently, which is when you build like a craft that's supposed to fly. They literally push you off like a 15 to 30 foot ledge.
Oh
And then
God!
you're supposed to fly. We did that
my
recently, so I
God.
want to do more
Brave.
stuff
How
like
did
that.
that go?
We actually did okay. We flew like, I think 20 to 25 feet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
you just made it. You
god.
made it. You had some
Yeah,
airtime.
we didn't drop straight down like a rock.
Oh my
I want to
lord.
talk about the different platforms that you're on today. You're on Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, really across the board in terms of
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do. What do these different platforms mean for how you're building your audience or the brand opportunities or business opportunities that you get from them? How do you use the
Oh,
platforms differently
now
from
I
one
need to pay
another?
attention.
Well, I personally use Twitter and Instagram and TikTok to just share my hobbies because I think, if every single platform is like a job, it might get kind of, it might be like a recipe for burnout. Like you'll notice that most creators kind of just focus on one place, and the place that I like the most is Twitch because of the interaction. But the branding stuff and like the business stuff does work differently for every platform.
Okay.
But I do think that Twitch is probably like one of the harder ones to do.
And how come?
Because it's very very top heavy. And then I feel like places like Instagram, TikTok, it's a lot easier to get yourself out there, whereas
Yeah.
Twitch,
I would also include YouTube Shorts, by the way. It's also like it is the same format as well. The algorithms do work a little bit different. Don't get discouraged because of that. But I would also put it into the pod.
sometimes you just have to be lucky or know the right people, which can be very demoralizing for a lot of people.
Do you feel that burnout ever, especially being so in front of the camera, so front facing? Do you suffer with burnout?
Well, I'm definitely more of an introvert. So when I go out and do all these events, which I love doing, I wish I didn't get so burnt out. But when I have a lot of socializing, I do need time to just kind of, be alone and play games.
What do you feel like is the next phase of this like streaming and gaming environment? Are there any like platforms you're excited about or types of content that you think are really going to become popular within the next like 1 to 3 years?
Well, it definitely seems like the kind of content people like to consume is shifting more to short form content. And but I hope that people continue watching streams because
what I also noticed, just like my thing on into it, I also especially since I started streaming on YouTube as well, I'm very much aware that not everybody has 4 hours of the day to sit with me in a stream and like be there and interact, which is I really appreciate if people are lurking. But even if people, for example, like the community members who are in Asia, right? They're just saying, Lina, you start streaming at 3 a.m. I can't do it. But at the end of the stream, when they wake up, they're just like popping in and saying hello. This is just, it just means the world to me because it means that they still want to interact in some way, even in the live stream, even though they don't have to, because I very much know it is difficult to be present in every time zone. That's why I want to reach out more. But it is just it's just so cute. I can't handle like we have a few community members who just come in and say hi and then they say good night like 5 seconds later. And I'm not offended by it because I know it's difficult to catch a stream, especially when yourself are busy. We all have a life. And so just saying hello, I also do not like look at the average view count that much anymore, for example. I mainly look at the people who just basically say hello or use a redeem or where it's like registered as a unique viewer that they've been there. And those are way more motivating things because, man, I also myself included, like when I work here right now and recording a lot of things, I'm recording for hours per day and then I edit for hours per day. And when I edit, I also cannot look at streams because they distract me so much. So when I go to a stream and I say hello and I stay for 5 minutes, this is all I have because my time is my day is very busy. So when people do that to me, I know how difficult it is sometimes to just be active in the community or like reach out to people. So I really, really appreciate if people just come and say hi and maybe stay for 5 minutes, laugh a little bit, and then they just do their day. This is just so precious and I do not expect anything. I mean, I don't expect anything, but this is already something so genuinely nice in terms of support that should be acknowledged as well. Not like aside from the lurkers that also are there for supporting me, and of course the active people. Of course, not that anyone will feel excluded here right now.
think that it's really fun. I feel like it's one of the only content creation mediums where like you kind of have to be there to really experience it. Whereas everything else is like it doesn't really matter when it's posted or if it's reposted. But streaming is, I feel like, the closest thing to real life that you can get online.
Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. How does that impact how you come to the stream versus how you post on Instagram? You know, of course, we can all like sit on an Instagram post for weeks before we hit publish.
Yeah.
So how do you think about like what you are bringing to these different platforms, knowing that it's in real time in those cases?
Well, yeah, like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you can share like the perfect picture of yourself, but on stream, it's just you there for hours. Like people will see everything and like they'll eventually feel like they get to know you because I mean, you can't fake a personality for like, 12 hours a day every single day for years.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure some people maybe can do, but man, that sounds super draining. That sounds so draining.
What about your personality do you think draws people in today?
I feel like that I'm not really afraid to be kind of weird.
People love that. Everyone is in some way. So being able to find that community, I'm sure a lot of your audience members feel like comfort in that.
Yeah, I think so.
In terms of yourself as a businesswoman and as a brand, how are you thinking about what the future means for new opportunities or different forms of medium or something like signing with Red Bull? How are you what is your mindset around what's next for you and how to continue building your career?
Well, I really enjoy working with different brands like Red Bull because of the possibilities for collaboration. So whenever I'm thinking about working with a brand, I try to be selective and pick things that I feel like it's really a good fit because I don't want to work with a company and then, they're not happy with something that I make. Also, like it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So,
or like it's also like a brand or a company that just doesn't fit your personality, for example. Like you can work with, of course, every brand that reaches out to you, but at some point you have to think, does it make sense? Like, does it make sense for my audience? For example, I have a very male dominant. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. My brain is so mush. I'm so sorry. I have a very male dominant audience. So when I have, let's just completely out of place, have an example. I start with working with Barbie and just release my own Barbie. That will not work well because my audience is not. I mean, there are people who play with Barbie. No offense, but the majority will not interact with this kind of brand deal. So it doesn't make any sense, you know. But if there would be like an energy drink brand, because I know a lot of people drink energy drinks in the community, or there would be like, I have a specific brand that I want to reach out there in Austria. I just need to be a bit bigger, think it maybe. They're like making very nice jewelry for all kinds of genders, and there are a lot of really cool like watches. And this is something I know people might enjoy as a male dominant audience. This is something I want to do, for example, like as a little for the future type of thing. Like I have brands as a goal that I would like to work with, but I'm ready that it's taking my time. And with taking my time, I mean taking a couple of years. And I'm okay with that. I love what I do. It doesn't matter if I do it for 3, 4, 5 more years to get a brand deal that I would like to have in the future.
Oh, yeah, that's what I think about.
And within those brand deals, what does most of your content look like? Is it on a certain platform? Is it a specific type of content? What are you typically working with brands on?
I do a lot of like sponsored gaming streams. My
I mean, that
viewers
makes
are
sense.
gonna think this is funny.
That makes sense.
It'll basically just be like I'm showcasing the game, like, hey guys, like, we're gonna try this game today. It looked fun. And then like for things like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, I'll have a lot of companies reach out to me to cosplay their characters. Like if they're releasing a new character, they'll ask me to dress up as it, and it's pretty fun.
What's been the most like surprising or fun experience that you've had in these partnership opportunities?
Well, just recently I went to Comic-Con and I worked with Marvel Rivals at their booth, and I got to meet a lot of the voice actors. Like I met the voice actor of Adam Warlock and Jeff the Shark and Winter Soldier, and that was really, really cool.
Wow.
Do you prefer these in-person events, online stuff? Where do you feel like most comfortable, and also where are you going to get the most out of for your career?
I definitely feel most comfortable when it's just me in my room with the camera.
I mean, introvert behavior, right?
I feel like I would get kind of bored if I weren't also going in real life and doing stuff. I just love, doing a mix of things and trying new things.
Totally. AI is obviously a big part of content creation today, and there are many varying opinions about like what it means for content creators and how they're going to continue to, build their portfolio of work. How are you thinking about AI? How has it impacted your career?
Interesting question.
Well, I mean, it's kind of scary, especially as a girl online. AI can be very scary. Like I've already seen people make things of like friends saying like weird stuff that they didn't say and things like that. Or I literally just last night saw a video of someone in real time like deep faking someone else's like appearance onto them like for a stream.
Yeah, that is a problem for a lot of like face streamers. I don't know how to, like, streamers who are not a VTuber or not use like an avatar. That the deep fakes are really getting out of hand.
And yeah, it's just very, very strange. It's hard to predict what's going to happen. Like, I think AI has a lot of good uses, but then also a lot of ones that will completely change our lives that are very hard to predict and super scary.
Are you using it at all for your own content?
No.
Okay. And do you plan to at all in the future?
I don't think so. Right now I'm gonna say probably not. But I mean it's interesting for sure seeing how it develops, but in terms
It's
of
good
like
to keep it
content
in
creator
mind,
spaces and
like
when it
what's
comes
happening.
to streaming, especially for sure, I think that audiences of those types of communities really value authenticity. So I feel like AI doesn't have a huge place in there, but I mean, who knows? It could happen.
Yeah. The word authenticity is like thrown around like for so many different industries, especially within the content industry. What does it mean to you like on a practical level? How do you bring like an authentic self to the camera, or how do you build an audience that like truly does know who you are?
Okay.
Well, I mean,
I wonder if she got like the questions before the interview. Like I know some interviews does that. They give like the questions before the interview happens, so that you can prepare a little bit for it. Every time a question drops, it's like, oh god, what do I say? She's so adorable, man.
literally just trying to be myself on camera. Like when I first started streaming, I kind of felt like I had to act a certain way or people didn't want to see certain things. But then at one point I kind of was like, okay, like if I want to stream more and do better, I'm gonna have to just be myself.
Yeah.
So I kind of started thinking of streaming as literally like hanging out with like my brother, hanging out with my best friend or something like that. And I feel like over time, I was kind of rewarded for that, and so I always give that advice to other people, like just be yourself,
Be yourself,
and be as honest as you can when it makes sense.
Within the like chat rooms or getting,
I have to say though, be yourself sometimes might not be going into the right direction, because I saw some streamers, because some friends told me, hey, we also know these and that people who are streaming, right? And then I checked out their content, and some of those people, they're also fairly small. Small is subjective, by the way, but you know. And I saw some of their TikToks, for example, and then it is just like, I have one specific one in mind where someone was playing a game, and it was like the game was playing in a, I don't know the game name, but it was playing in a jail, and there were like different prisoners going through one of those security doors, and every time one of the prisoners went through the security doors, the person commented on their appearance, and one of the people were like, had like one of those characters had like very, very yellow skin, and he completely crashed out because of that, and like started to just insult this character. I mean, it was not a real person and stuff like that, but if you are so triggered by a character's skin color that you are crashing out for 2 minutes, personally, I don't know what it says about your personality and the way how authentic you are on stream, or if it's just played, basically like a played role that you do on stream. It just felt really weird. But and as you can see, this moment just stuck to me, that I still remember it. It's already months ago, and I will just never watch this person content, because the first impression I had was just bad. Like, it was not funny, it was not entertaining, it was not educating, it was not, the only resonation I had was negative, and this is what I saved them up with, and I just do not look them up anymore, basically. And this is something like, I'm not sure if this moment was like a played moment by the person, but it really had like a negative impact. And if it was authentic, then the person should be concerned, not gonna lie, because something like this should not trigger you so hard.
You know, viewer feedback. Like we mentioned before, there are some negative sides of that, but I'm sure you also get some either ideas or inspiration or suggestions about how you can continue to grow. How have those, you know, viewer interactions dictated what else you create? Have there been any like ideas that have sparked from it, or ways that you've changed your content because people are asking for it?
Well, yeah, I'm always listening to my community. I think that that's so important. And then even with like, you know, brands I've worked with, some brands are very stubborn and they don't really want to listen to like audiences or creators that they work with. But I feel like the ones that I see that do, you know, listen to feedback from their audience.
Interesting to know, by the way,
tend
that they're
to
stubborn
thrive a lot
sometimes.
better. But I mean, sometimes, you know, people don't know what they really want, or they can be wrong. But I feel like in general, more creators and brands should listen to their audiences.
What have been some of your favorite brand campaigns that you've worked on?
Definitely working with Marvel Rivals. I really like Marvel as a brand, and then I just think it's a really good game. And I've also done stuff with Elden Ring and From Software, and that was a really huge honor.
And you've also expanded outside of the gaming industry for some of these partnerships as well, things like Neutrogena or Essence. What have those partnerships looked like in comparison to the ones that are like so insular in the gaming community?
Well, from working with those companies, I was so pleasantly surprised because I feel like they were just so open, and like they were just willing to experiment and try new things, whereas some other brands weren't.
Yeah.
And then, you know, since I'm a girl and I like girly things, that was really cool.
You are also co-owner of OTK, which is a network of creators. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that platform looks like and why it exists?
Well, so OTK started as, it was a bunch of friends, a bunch of guy streamers that basically got together and were like, okay, we're gonna try to, you know, help each other out, boost each other up, and make a business out of this. And over time, OTK expanded into a bunch of smaller businesses, like Starforge PCs, which sells computers, Mad Mushroom, which is a, you know, game publishing company, and a couple other things as well. And yeah, I've just seen it develop a long time, and it's cool working with friends. But I mean, there's problems with that as well.
Yeah, there's also business
So
side
what
of
are
it that you have to put under one roof then, or like you have to be like really good to separate the friend side of things and also the business side of things. Like, some things are just business. I'm sorry to say it like that, because we know it's a bit of a weird term nowadays. And some things is just like, hey, as a friend, this is just not working. And I saw a German little group of free streamers, where the one with the biggest following basically is not part of it anymore, because they are still friends, but he's just not fit anymore as a business partner the way he is. Not in a negative way, he's just like an overworker, basically. And so they parted ways in business ways, right? But they're still friends. So this is like a very, very like, this is a very big moment where you have to be a very big adult to handle that professionally, that you keep your friendship, and that you part in like good ways, so like nobody having a damage from it, basically, on the business side as well. It's very, very delicate to handle something like this.
Of those problems or challenges that come with being a co-owner, is there any roadblocks that you guys are having to overcome?
Well, when you do business with friends, there can always be, you know, conflicts can be handled a certain way differently.
Yeah.
Or when you're working together and relying on so many people, if someone, you know, has something happen in their personal life, or they're not able to do something anymore, then it's like you kind of lose a leg that you were standing on. But I feel like at the end of the day, I would still rather work with friends and people that I care about.
Yeah.
Being a co-owner, what are some of the skills that you've learned that you feel like have helped your, you know, business knowledge, both within OTK, but also to keep creating your own things?
Well, since I started as, you know, just basically a nerd playing League in my room.
Hey, I'm a nerd. Hello. This is what I like about her. She's just like so humble, which is very rare now, at some point among very big creators. It is just so cute to see.
I feel like I've learned a lot of communication skills from all of those people. So.
Makes sense.
And
Yeah.
what specifically, like, is it with employees? Is it with co-owners? Is it with your community? Where do you feel like that's come most handy?
Definitely employees and work for sure. Like I have 4 or 5 of my own employees now. I have like a production person, or I have 2 production people actually. I have editors. I have assistants and things like that.
When do you think is the right time to start hiring? When in your journey did you?
When I started wanting to do big projects and I felt like I couldn't do it on my own, that's when I started looking around for people.
Do you ever have a hard time like giving up some of, you know, what you want to have control over, or how do you find the people that you trust?
I hated it at first. Like I would always try to be doing my thing, and I literally had one of the people that worked for me. She was like, "This is what you pay me for. Like just
let me
just
handle
let
it.
me do it." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess you're right."
I have the same problem. Oh no, I'm so bad with this. I try my best, but it's really hard. It's really hard, especially for like bigger events and stuff. I just still do everything by myself. I give just very tiny tasks to the moderation team because I'm just grateful that they moderate the chat already. That's why they're there. They're moderating and they do their volunteer job perfectly already. So why should I bother them with event prep?
There's a lesson in that, I guess.
Oh,
you can delegate
same,
when you need to not get burnt out, like you were speaking about earlier.
Yeah.
As you move into the future of your career, are you prioritizing one of these things over another, like being a co-owner and overseeing a conglomerate of things, still, you know, creating your own content, doing more in-person things? Like, what is the plan
A mix,
for
probably.
you and your personal brand moving forward?
Keeping
I've
the mix?
definitely recently shifted more to, you know, focusing on myself and creating content and being creative because, I mean, as a lot of people know, doing business can be, you know, very difficult or very stressful. But I definitely still want to keep working with brands and doing, you know, stuff with the companies that I work with. But I think at the end of the day, I prefer being a creative and just streaming and having fun and
just
hanging
do
out with
her
people.
things, basically.
What's your best piece of advice for up-and-coming creators today, especially young women who are entering the space?
Okay.
I think being yourself is definitely the most important thing. Even if you feel
from the
like you see
beginning.
everyone else doing something different, if you just be yourself, eventually people that are like you will come and they'll be more drawn to that than people that, you know, just see that you're trying to be like everybody else.
My last question for you, as part of the under 30 community, we obviously focus a lot on what youth means for all of our careers. How do you feel like it's impacted your career starting so young and still being so young in this industry? What does youth mean to you?
Well, there's times that it's pretty much nonstop. Like I'll fly to like 2 or 3 different places in a week and then also be doing streams. I'm grateful that I have the energy to do that. And I'm grateful that I get to meet so many cool and interesting people. You know, most of the streaming community, like the streamers are, I'd say like 20 to 35.
Yeah.
So I'm about like in the middle of that age group. And yeah, it's just, you know, there's just so many interesting, cool people to meet that are talented in so many different ways.
Yeah, I believe that.
You have the energy to keep going and doing all the things.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It was so fun to hear about your whole career so far, and I can't wait to see where it goes in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Alex.
That was nice. Oh, that's a yo. That's a nice picture. Let's end it with a really nice picture of her. Also, the look, how she's like looking right now, so cool looking, man. That was very informative. I really love like watching what other creators have to say about their fields as a learning experience, basically. Like I'm still very early in this career, even though I do this for over 2 years now. And I can't wait for the next 2 years and the next 2 years and the next 2 years. I just don't see myself stopping, you know. That was very interesting. I hope it was interesting for you as well. I really enjoyed that. It kind of shows me that I'm probably on the right track. and then I just keep doing what I do, like with the end note of the video, of course, like being yourself. I just do what I like. I do, and I would just keep doing that, and then we will see where it goes. Hopefully, at least that I can pay my bills and live normal without needing a corporate job. That is like the ultimate goal for me. I don't even need massive amount of monies. I just want to do what I do and pay my bills from it, and that's it. That is my eternal ultimate goal, basically. Everything above that, probably we will see that we will do more charity then. Well, yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. Also, thank you for Emiru and Forbes for doing this interview. It was very informative. It was also just nice to see her in a different light, basically, a little bit, like being a bit more professional, more grown up. But I really like her personality, I have to say. I really like, she's one of the people who I see as inspiration, who's not a VTuber. I think this is important to also do if you're a creator. Just look outside of your own box and look at creators who do completely different things where you can learn something from. This is probably my last tip of the day, and I see you on the next video or maybe live on stream. Thank you for being here. Have a good day. Bye bye.